Welcome everybody to Mooch's Reviews. This is going to be the first of many to come. Today, for the first one, I'm honored to be able to review Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. Now, everyone's expecting me to bash Uncharted 4, but I'm not going to. Let's begin with the story. We all know Uncharted has always had an amazing story, full of lighthearted comedy and simple jokes that reference the 1980s and 1990s sitcom humor. The interactions between Drake and Sully in the first three games went from a father-son relationship to a brotherly relationship. And speaking of brothers, up until May 10th, 2016, we thought the closest thing to a brother for Drake was Sully. Everyone was wrong about that, as we'll discuss later in the review. Uncharted 4 takes Nathan Drake through three different stages of his life, where we are introduced to Sam Drake, Nathan's brother. Personally, I don't think Sam was the best choice for Nathan's sidekick. I much preferred Sully. Now, Sully in this game almost feels like Sully and the director didn't get along because his role was diminished to almost nothing, except for Nathan and Sam's escape artist. But the story is good, albeit too long, in certain chapters, but interesting enough to satisfy the average Uncharted fan. After multiple ups and downs through the story, we find Nathan Drake climbing quite a bit in this game. The climbing was fun at first, and a welcome change of pace from the gunfire. In the first three games, gunfire was actually 90% of the game, and the jumping from ledge to ledge and the skill set that it took was a welcome change. But in Uncharted 4, the gunplay was the break from all the climbing. Too many times I found that there was a crate laying around in the middle of nowhere to hop on, and then to continue more climbing. I found the rope a little annoying, and unless I had to use it, and the game made me use it, I never used it, in stealth combat or any particular scenario. The gunplay was typical, no better, no worse than any other Uncharted. The look and feel of the game is straight out of The Last of Us. Gone are the colorful and playful environments, and enter in the more dreary and dark aspects that give more of an artistic head nod to The Last of Us. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge The Last of Us fan, but I like the separation of that light comedy we used to get from Uncharted, and now the dark side that was The Last of Us that our good friend Neil Druckmann has brought back into this series. The love story between Nathan and Elena grew on me as the story progressed. Neil Druckmann and company used her character, but neglected Sully far too much for my liking. The mechanics and gameplay I felt were average, and I just wish the controls felt more like I was in control versus Nathan sometimes feeling like a crash test dummy at times. Graphically, it's a stunning backdrop, almost every turn in the game, but the game is linear, and don't let any gaming media fanboy tell you otherwise. If you are an Uncharted fan like I am, this game is a must-play. But the minuses include very little differential in enemy design, linear gameplay, and the DualShock 4 is just an awful experience no matter what the game is. The positives are the beauty of the game. Clearly, what you've seen on the PS4 share and Twitter is true. The game is stunning. And the story does hold its own. The story has just enough to rope you in for the 15 plus hours. And nostalgia is a hell of a drug, so I'll always come back for more Uncharted games. I give Uncharted 4 A Thief's End an impressive 8.5 out of 10. Only deductions are for mechanics and controls and refer to the gunplay, and the rope swinging, and the poor enemy design. Also, the boss fight was lackluster to say the least. All in all, it's a must-own and play for all gamers, especially those who own a PS4. I don't know if it's necessarily a console seller. If it's a console seller, I would think you already owned a PS4 for this game. That's the only reason I picked up a PS4 was for Uncharted 4. Borrow it, rent it, buy it. Here's my point. If you have a hard time in borrowing, Yoshida and Adam Boyes did a video back in 2013 showing how to share a game. So in case you're confused, Sony's taking care of that for you. Thank you, everybody, and there's more Mooch reviews to come.